can't talk about poops or farts or they go nuts. And people that don't mind it at all. Anyway, so I'm down the middle. I am down the middle. So I've gone from dating people who can't hear about it at all, and then dated somebody I was like, we got to talk about poops and farts right away. And I was grabbing something to read. I'm like, I'm gonna go do number 2. But then it got to be too much. Then she would come into the bathroom while I was showering and poop.
See, that's not fair. Now, you can't poop while someone's showering because of all of the steam. And then you're actually like showering in fecal matter. And that's another line where I just feel like it's inconsiderate. Because there's that line between like, I'm comfortable, and this is sort of like indicative of I'm comfortable, versus you're being a douche by making me shower. Like, who wants to shower in peppermint oil and ass? Nobody.
Like, I like right down the middle. Like, let's not. I feel like hiding it too much, like really not being able to talk about it. What you resist persists. Like, then all you're thinking about is them pooping or farting. So, definitely. And then bringing attention to it is like, we don't need to do that. We all know we poop and fart. Like, there's no reason to go on and on about it. But I think just in the middle, a healthy amount is.
I agree, because there is like that age barrier. Like, think about like little kids, that is talked about. It is applauded. People provide cakes. Like, when kids are potty trained, or the first time they take a big poop and like wipe themselves, there's a celebration. And then at a certain point, that does need to wane, right? Like, we can't we can't necessarily be celebrating or drawing attention to it. Although I actually have an awful poop story about being a nanny one time.
We need to back up another thing. Who the hell got a cake when they pooped and wiped?
Has anybody ever gotten a cake? Well, one of the kids I nannied for, because literally we had to give her laxatives because she was having such like poop anxiety issues that she like had attachment issues. There's an entire book about it. It's called the Oedipal Poop Complex. There's like the Oedipal complex, but then also the association to like poop. It's literally a book for parenting. I forget, that not exactly be the title, but it pertains to how like the Oedipal complex and your attachment to like your fecal matter as a small child, like is a real
joke. It's like Oedipus, edible.
It's really gross, but it's like totally a legit thing. But so yeah, like this kid was really having anxiety, like attachment issues with her poop, and so like the doctor had to give her medicine, and she like was getting sick, like didn't poop for like 8 days. And like, we couldn't send her to preschool until she pooped. Like, it was such a big event that when she finally pooped, dude, there was a cake. There was a cake. We were like, oh my God. Because we thought the child was going to die with like 50 pounds of poop in her body. So it was quite an accomplishment.
And you're giving her constipation cake to make it happen all over again. No, was the cake filled with laxatives too?
No, wouldn't that be funny? Cakes filled with laxatives. Although this doesn't pertain to poop. Those of you who are joining us right now, we're talking about pooping. And
wait, but you were telling me a story about nannying. Oh, is that the story?
Oh, no. Oh my God, so many nannying stories, pooping nannying stories, but this is a good one. So, this little boy that I used to nanny for in Manhattan was like trying to be super independent. And that's the other thing, like pooping and potty training, it's like a big deal where it's really like the next stage of like growing up. So it's very like symbolic for a child. And so this kid, I won't mention his name, but he wanted to poop independently, didn't want help wiping. He's like, no, I got it, Renee, I got it. I need my privacy. He's like literally 3.5 years old. He's like, oh, I need my privacy. And I'm like, all right, buddy, you can have your privacy. So he goes to the bathroom, he poops. He's like, I pooped, I wiped. And I'm like, okay, good job, buddy. And then like an hour and a half later, we're sitting in the living room. I'm like, God, it smells in here. Like, I don't know what's going on. And so I do that like quick little like check where I'm like, he looks okay. Like I pulled the back of his pants and I'm like, he looks fine. I'm like, what is that smell? So another hour goes by and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, whew, I can't. So then I'm like, buddy, let's change. Let's take a bath. Like, I don't know why it was just emanating off his body. So then when I go to change him, I realized he had wiped and cleaned his bum completely, but had wiped it all the way up his back Jackie. Like there was a stream of poo up his back, like almost to his neck. So he didn't wipe it away. He just painted it onto his back.
How did he do that?
I don't even know. I was like, so buddy, I know you want to be independent, but we need a little bit of help still. He was like, it was pretty bad, but it was also hilarious.
I wonder how he got it on his back. That's like almost impossible.
Almost impressive. Plus he had the shirt on. So like, what did he, like when he went in there, did he lift? Because it was not on the fabric, like on the outside. Like I couldn't even figure out how this was possible, how this child pulled this off, but he did.
Ew.
It's super gross.
Yeah. I hope he's not still
I have 1,000
What if he was still doing that?
stories. Go ahead. Sorry, what'd you say?
What if he's still doing that?
I know, he's 7, so I hope not.
He's like, I got this.
I got this. But it was an issue too, because like you can't go to school if you're not like completely potty trained and like self-sufficient in the bathroom. So like it is a big like milestone thing. Like you can't go to preschool or kindergarten unless you like got it down, because teachers are not going to follow you to the bathroom. Like that's a parental job, you know?
Yeah.
So like it's sort of a big thing. But I guess now that everything is turned into remote learning, you won't have to be potty trained till you're like 6.
You can sit on the potty. You can sit on the potty and be on Zoom.
And literally be in class. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, me too.
So gross. We're gross.
We're disgusting. But with necessary talk. This is necessary talk.
Who's watching
Well,
us?
relationships.
Look, dude, we had 4 viewers and now we have 3 because we talked about poo.
Oh, sorry. Scatological. Can I add it to my page?
I think you can. So we're learning how to navigate this. So for those of you watching, we are launching this platform and don't really know what we're doing. Oh, Jose is here. Jose is one of my triathlon teammates. Speaking of,
Hi.
he's hilarious. But speaking of pooping and triathlons,
Oh,
first time I did a triathlon, I went to an expo like the day before. There were like all these tent set up so you can buy stuff for a triathlon. Jose would know this. And there was a tent where you could buy adult diapers. It was a tent. I'm like, there's a whole tent where you can buy different colored portable diapers. And I'm like, wait, is this like a thing? Because there's like a huge exhibit. I feel like other triathletes are using this. And I'm like, why would you opt to poop in your pants and then run in it for 5 hours? Which I found to be amazing. But I realized that like people who are elite athletes who actually want to win shit in their pants. And I was like, I'm not going to win. I would rather stop at a porta potty on the course than run in my own shit when I'm not going to win. Like if I was a contender, maybe
that's what I mean. If you were a contender, if there was a chance that you could win, I think you would take it.
I think I would take it. But for me, it was almost more disappointing because I'm pretty much a middle of the packer. So for me to just voluntarily run in my own shit when I'm when I'm still gonna finish like 173rd, there's really no point.
What about someone else's shit? You bring up your own shit. Would you run on someone else's shit?
I don't know if I can handle
shit.
Yeah,
I don't think I could run my poop with any poop anywhere near me.
Yeah, you don't. I don't think it's a shareable experience, is it, for anybody?
I spent the weekend with a 13-year-old. She wasn't shitting, but what I'm saying was I couldn't swear.
That's tough.
It was really hard. So I replaced all the swears with Carol Baskin. It really works.
Carol Baskin?
I Carol Baskin my pants. Mother, go Carol Baskin yourself.
Oh my God, that's really funny. What I think is really funny is shit is a 1-syllable word and Carol Baskin is like multisyllabic.
Oh yeah, Carol Baskin in there.
That's why it's really extra funny.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you?
I can't run in my own Carol Baskin.
I think I'm going to start using that. I think flipping words for. Oh, I have another funny story about flipping words, and it does pertain to the pod. We're linking it all in. What is it?
Like Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin
yourself, buddy.
Carol Baskin. Is Carol Baskin a person's name?
Oh yeah, she's the Lion King, the Tiger King lady who fed her husband to tigers.
Oh, then I totally think we should use it.
And now she's on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, well, that worked out for her, Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin. Here's another fun one for the times. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so another funny kid story. I should probably never parent. The more I tell these stories, I realize I should probably never parent. But I had my niece when I was in Manhattan for the day. It was her birthday, and there was like there's this big like trolls exhibit in Manhattan. I don't know if it's open now because of coronavirus, but it basically was like they turned this like museum into like Trollsville, and in order to like enter the museum, you have to be a troll. So you go to this like really in the entranceway, you go to this really cool beauty salon where they turn you from a human into a troll. They like paint your face and they give you this big wig that's like troll-like, and you become a troll, and then you can enter this playland. And it's like a magical.
Do you keep the wig?
Yeah. Yep. You keep the wig, and you literally are like converted to a troll. And so my niece was obsessed with this whole experience and like could not pull herself away. But at the time, she's like 4 years old, right? This was last year. But so I'm like, you could do. She was doing the pee-pee dance, you know, when kids do that like thing where they're like kind of swaying, but like not saying they have to pee. And I'm like, Emma, I think you need to go potty. Like, let's go. So I take her to the bathroom, and unfortunately, it's like a little bit late. And she's fully potty trained. I just think the excitement of the place, like whatever, so freaks her out. At any rate, I, like a good aunt, came well prepared with a change of clothing, but I forgot little underwear for her. So like she had to go commando. And I was like, oh, that's going to suck for her, especially as a little kid who's not used to it. I'm like, it's fine. She has pants and a shirt. She'll survive for the day. And I'm with my other sister, Mandy, who says this. She's like, I know it's not going to be comfortable for her, but whatever. She can handle going commando. We don't even think Emma's paying attention to us. So we move through the day. She has a blast, all as well. Flash forward to a week later. I'm in my sister's apartment. And my brother-in-law comes downstairs, and Terry had just done laundry but didn't do underwear. So Tomas, Emma's sitting at the table playing Play-Doh, not even a part of this conversation. And Tomas is like, oh, Terry, I don't have any underwear. And Emma pipes up out of nowhere and goes, well, Daddy, you're just going to have to go Fernando.
How cute.
So for now on, for my family, we always say like, oh, you're going Fernando. And people are like, it's not Fernando. I'm like, yes, it is.
Fernando.
I'm gonna have to go Fernando.
There was something in the air that night. The moon was bright. Fernando.
Fernando. Is that a Lady Gaga song? No.
It's ABBA. But then Lady Gaga.
Rock, I love you. I miss you.
But then Lady Gaga did her own version of Fernando. But my cousin one time, out of the blue, just said, oh, I know. Out of the blue, she was just like, I haven't worn underwear in 10 years. And I was just like, why did you tell me that? Like, it's information I never needed to know. Like, I didn't know how to respond.
No context.
Well, yeah, no context. Like, I had no idea how to respond. And was like, good for you. Like, I don't.
That is weird.
Why would you not? I love underwear.
I like underwear too, but not after 7 p.m. I take my underwear off like I take my bra off. Like at the end of the day, I'm like done with undergarments.
Yeah.
And now I've added my face mask to that list. Like I get home, I take my bra, my underwear, and my face mask, and I feel like it's this release.
Yeah, definitely.
Who knew?
But yeah, underwear in the day, I need them on.
True. Yeah. And then you need to be liberated when you come home.
Your niece doesn't.
Yeah, she's 4 though. It's a different one. 4.
Do you still have those wigs?
She still has the wig. Yeah, I had a wig, a Trolls wig that I used for a Halloween costume a different year, but it itched me so bad that it was problematic. I got rid of it.
Oh wow!
Like it was like wool inside, so like I couldn't rock it.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah, I would love to be a troll for not in real life, but for Halloween, that's a rockin' costume.
Yeah, a troll in real life. What would that look like? I'd look like our president.
It would look like our president, who I hope is not going to be president in 70 whatever days. How many days? 60 something days. Good Lord.
Please. Let's all Lord. Hey, everybody watching. Can we do a moment of really just feeling that Joe Biden is our president? Let's really feel it. I think we should do that every day. Make it
Let's
happen.
just pray for a human being that actually cares about other human beings.
Yeah. For a worldwide spiritual awakening. Do you know people think that spiritual awakening, like, it bugs me. Like, a lot of people think that being woke is being like, a, what is it called? Conspiracy theorist.
Being awakened is being a conspiracy theorist?
A lot of people think that. Like, I like famous comedians. I've like read articles on them, and they're like, yeah, woke, and they think it's being a conspiracy.
It's sort of incredible to look at like the polarity of how human beings think. And I try to just be like grateful that like, right, that's the human condition, is we need the contrast, the whole yin and yang thing in order to evolve. But I am just glad I'm on the right side of history now.
I'm glad I'm on the right side of history, and I'm glad I don't think conspiracy theory is woke. Woke is not, like, conspiracy theorists are usually all negative, right?
That's what I'm saying. They're all fear-based. Because if you conspiracy, it's just innate in the word that it has to do with fear. Like when you think of something like, and people who are enlightened, or at least on a path to enlightenment, their choice is always love, not fear, which really everything is under those two umbrellas. For me, it's either, love or a call for love. And those are the only two. But a call for love often manifests itself as fear.
Right. I mean, like, experience fear, and you have to let yourself have it for a little bit of time, but you barely have any fear because you have something that's bigger than everything.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's like, fear comes from the ego, because the ego wants to control, manage, and manipulate something. And that's what fear is based in, is that we need to be able to feel like we can navigate it. So even a conspiracy theory, like this coronavirus thing isn't real, it somehow creates a modicum of control if they think that it's conspiracy. Because if we have to surrender and be like, there's a pandemic and we don't have control over it, like, there's a level of powerlessness that people sometimes feel when they don't realize, like, you still have power over how you show up. We're living in the time of coronavirus. We may not be able to control the actual virus, but we can choose to social distance. We can choose not to go outside. We can, choose to work from home. Like, there are ways to participate in something we don't have control over. I mean, we get this as people in recovery. Like, the most powerful thing I ever did was admit that I was powerless, but that's hard to explain to people.
Right. Well, surrendering, but never giving up. Surrendering to knowing that there's a power greater than ourselves. Totally. Like, do I know everything in the world? No, I do know conspiracy theory are negative. I mean, some might be true and some might not. I mean, a lot of them are not. But there could be some truth in some of them somewhere. But anything that's fear-based is not real.
Yeah. Sometimes when it's like this calculated conspiracy theory, like, there's some things I think are possible and palatable, like even with this coronavirus thing. Like, there are these theories that they're calling it COVID-19 because it appeared in 2019, but there are theorists that are saying that's kind of when it came to the public eye, and that there were these studies that it appeared in 2018. And like, that kind of makes sense to me. Like, I don't know that a virus just pops out of nowhere. I think when a scientist is probably getting knowledge of a virus, they probably keep it under wraps for a little while until they know. Like, that kind of makes sense. Right? I'm sure it didn't just show up in November of 2019 and we're like, some scientists knew something fishy was happening and just didn't want to alarm people initially until there was like, you know what I mean? Like, I do think that there's definitely a gap from when the public knows about something versus when the people who are like controlling it know about it. So,
but to bring it all together doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. For it to just like literally not be a thing when like we're like 100,000 Americans and countless other people around the world like have died, like 100,000 people, like more people died from coronavirus than the people that died in September 11th. For us to think that that's not real, like, that's devastating and horrible on both ends. But like, how can we think that that's not something that's like a legitimate thing when like
nurses are being worked to the bone, but we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's not a real thing. Especially when it's like worldwide too. Like,
it's just the whole world. Yeah.
I don't get it, man. I didn't time this today. I'm looking at the time. How are we doing?
Oh yeah, it's 3:47. What do you think?
But we started at 3. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I want to be respectful of the time. Started at 3:20. We started a little late, guys, because we're learning how to navigate this platform. So
we apologize for that.
And next week it's going to be super exciting because we're going to have pictures and additional videos, and we're just going to keep wowing you guys. How exciting is that?
Like nonstop wow.
Like wow after wow after wow.
Yeah.
And if you have any suggestions of what you want us to talk about, throw it in the chat and we will ignore it.
And yes, we will avoid it like the COVID. Well, you guys ask us questions too. We want to answer your questions.
Jose, Kristen, any questions? I know you have questions for me.
Give us a question about how we shave our pits.
Don't. Guys, I haven't shaved my pits in a week. But it's not like a feminist social distancing thing. I swear to God, it's not even a political statement. Now do I have to tell people why I haven't shaved my pits in a week?
No.
Did this just really happen?
When I first married my ex-wife, she would shave. We took every shower together. And she would shave like a little strip.
Oh,
like in my pits, just for like a couple of weeks or something.
I can't be that much of a feminist because I'm Portuguese, and it's.
But I've never done it again. But I've never been one to have a. I have nothing against it, but it's not my thing.
It's not my thing either, and it's like inappropriate. Like the men in my family, there is no distinction between like their facial hair and their neck hair, and like their hair and their backs and their back hair. So like. Even the women are pretty bad in Portuguese culture, but yeah, I can't.
How do the women navigate all that hair on the men? Are they married?
Most of them are. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they're scared in a box of rainbows.
Their wives aren't like chasing after them with an electric shaver?
Even my dad is in his mid-60s and is single again. And he's like, I don't know why the ladies don't like me. And I'm like, there's this, Dad. It's that there's nothing, it shouldn't look like you're wearing a turtleneck in August. I'm just saying. I don't want to tell you what to do because you're my father. But yeah, my dad's missing the boat in that. Like he's just this burly, like hairy gorilla man. And he's like, I don't understand why I don't have a date. Like, dude, my dad is like so hairy. And now his beard's completely white because he's in his like mid-60s. And during Christmas, my dad was just chilling in a chair, just chilling, reading. And like we have a lot of extended family and cousins and people who are not like my brother-in-law's side of my sister's husband's side of the family. And so not everybody knows my dad. And he's just sitting there chilling next to the Christmas tree reading. And people literally thought he was a staged Santa Claus.
That's so.
Because like he looked and we were like, he had a Santa hat on just because it was Christmas. And they thought we hired Santa. And I was like, no, that's my father. That's actually my father. See, this is why adding pictures would be really funny for our show, Jackie, as a brainstorm, because that would be a good opportunity to throw up that pic or the pic of Emma as a troll or a pic of me shitting. No, I wouldn't do that.
You have the picture of your dad by the Christmas tree?
Oh, yeah.
You can put it in the comments section.
How do I do it? But it's on my phone. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. Where does your dad live?
My dad lives in Massachusetts. My father is a Portuguese immigrant. His name is Tiberio. No joke. That's my father's name.
I love that name. It's already my favorite name on the planet.
Right? Tiberio. We should say, instead of swearing, we should say Tiberio.
Tiberio. It sounds like a magical like spell.
He hates his name, and I think it's the coolest name ever. Dad, you're a badass. Your name's Tiberio.
Tiberio. It sounds like Harry Potter, something Harry Potter would say. Like,
right?
It's like Tiberio.
My sister Nina, who had boys, wanted to name her first son after my dad, so like there could be a legacy. She wanted to name Daniel Tiberio, and like she made the announcement to my father, and my father's like, "Why would you torment him for the rest of his life?" Like my dad did not want him to be Tiberio. We're like, we wanted to pass something down culturally. He wouldn't have it.
A Tiberio would be a good girl's name too. Tiberia
or Tiberia, right? That would be cool.
Love it. I like my name, but Tiberio, that's just the best
Jackie,
name.
you have a good name. It took me a long time to like my name because I didn't like the way it was spelled. I went through this existential crisis where every year I would change the spelling of my name. Like it was like in 7th grade, I spelled it Renay. And then I spelled it just with one E for a while. And then I spelled it Renae. Because I was like, Renee, it's a 5-letter word with only 3 letters in it. And it's dumb. So I like
how it sounds, but this is the real way, right?
Yep. Now, there's actually an accent over the first of my double E's, but I don't know how to do it on StreamYard. So, like, oftentimes when I type it, the accent doesn't go on my name.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it. If anybody knows how to fix it, let me know.
Tiberio.
Tiberio.
So he has no desire to play Santa?
No, I mean, I think he inadvertently just like fills that role. He just goes with it. Like the kids sit on his lap and like want to talk to him. And I'm like, Dad, I think they think you're Santa.
That's really.
And he's like, I'm just friendly and they want to sit on my lap. I'm like, just so you know, in general, kids don't really sit on adult laps unless they think you're Santa Claus. That whole tradition's sort of weird. Don't you think that's kind of weird that you sit on like a strange man's lap?
It's not.
When I would watch these kids at malls, it made sense to me when they panicked. Yeah. Like, this is a grown-ass, creepy stranger man with a big white beard, and you're, like, being asked to sit on their lap and ask them for stuff. Like, that would traumatize me as well. Yeah. So, like, why are we like, don't be scared, it's just Santa. I would tell my child, like, you have a great instinct. You have a great instinct because this person's great. Like, you don't even know who this is.
Yeah. I had a Santa Claus hit on me once. I was
hit on you in the Santa Claus outfit?
Wow. I was 15. I wasn't a little kid, but it still was like scarred a little bit. I was like, ew, and I ran the other way.
That would be really scary.
Well, when I was little, I wouldn't go to Santa Claus either. And my mom found a Mrs. Claus, and I went to go see her. And she didn't have anybody to sit on her lap, but I made her let me sit on her lap. I'm just kidding. But
my parents told me Santa didn't exist very young because I think partly because they were just broke, and so this whole like illusion of getting 5,000 presents, they were like, we can't ride that train. That unlimited ask that kids have because they don't think they're getting it from their parents. My parents were like, number one, I'm one of 6. And they're like, you each get 1. That's it. And then a bag of fruit in your stocking. That's how we roll. Like, there ain't no Santa Claus. He's on TV. I'm like, damn it. But I was that asshole kid that ruined it for everybody else in school. They'd come in and be like, yeah, Santa this and Santa. I'm like, there is no Santa Claus. And this is like, I was the kid that sent everybody else home crying when I did the reveal.
Wow.
Yeah, I shattered a lot of people's Santa dreams because it was like, if mine shattered, yours will be too.
Wow. I don't remember ever actually really believing in Santa Claus. But I guess my kid does. Do you remember?
I feel like, my nephew, who's 12 and hopefully not watching the show, still believes in Santa Claus.
What?
Yeah, he's 12. Or so he says. I don't know if he's just trying to appease.
Sending it for the presents.
Yeah, I don't know. He's the one who asked me if Santa Claus was he's all like concerned about this. He has this like social awareness thing. So he's like, I'm just curious, like, is Santa doing like deliveries on Amazon Prime? Like, is he going to be able to get on his sleigh, like ride around the world? And do all of the reindeers need to be 6 feet apart? I'm like, I don't know that the proficiency of the sleigh would work as well if the reindeers were all socially distancing. But he's like, but what about like in the North Pole, like those elves work pretty close in the factory lines. Like, do they all have to be 6 feet apart? I'm like, no, they're just going to wear masks. It'll be fine. Yeah, he fully thinks Santa's elves will be wearing masks.
I love that he's thinking about that. He's thinking ahead of time.
Yeah, and he's like, so is it rude if we, you know how like Santa Claus will like, will you leave out cookies? And he's like, I don't feel like that's safe. Like, how is Santa going to know that we don't have coronavirus? And I'm like, yeah, he probably shouldn't be breaking into random people's houses when we're socially distancing. Just drop it down their chimneys.
They like make the cookies out of Purell.
Yeah. That's what we're getting in our stocking this year, everybody.
Everybody's getting Purell in their stocking anyway.
Well, any riveting things we want to close out? We have 30 seconds of our broadcast left.
I have a show tonight on Flappers.
Oh, yay, everybody watch it. Is it through Facebook?
I believe it's Zoom. Go to Flappers and it'll have a link.
Everybody go and watch it.
It's at 7, and Brian Kiley's on it too, and he's really
fun. At 7 Pacific Standard Time, yeah?
Pacific, yeah.
Do it. Everybody go check out flappers.com and watch Jackie Monahan at 7 o'clock. That's our broadcast for this week.
And watch our specials on Amazon. And
that special is called These Lips. Check it out, Amazon Prime. And my special is called
Outside the Box.
Outside the Box.
Outside the Box.
Outside the Box. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Ask us questions. We love you.
Ask questions. We love you. Bye.